Free trade versus protectionism. Introduction. As international trade becomes more convenient due to globalization, a new domestic issue has arisen within many countries involving the implementation of free trade or protectionist practices in their local markets. Many argue that free trade would enable local consumers access to cheaper goods, while counterarguments centered on protectionism focus on the protection of local markets from cheap imports. At the center of these issues is governments' need to balance their citizens' needs with the necessity of being competitive by having a more open market through free trade practices. Root cause of the issue. The root cause of the problem is the desire for local industries to be protected from an influx of cheap foreign imports rather than local consumers benefiting from cheaper products. It should also be noted that the implementation of protectionist measures regarding imports from certain countries results in these countries implementing their own form of protection as well. The end result is the creation of numerous tariffs and trade restrictions, which make the flow of goods and services more expensive and difficult. Advantages of free trade. The advantage of free trade is that it allows markets from different countries to freely trade with one another without restriction in the form of significant tariffs, taxes, and other restrictions. This makes the prices of particular goods and services far cheaper for local consumers and results in them being able to buy more for less. Aside from this, under a free trade agreement, countries would have greater access to the local markets of other countries, resulting in a greater chance for profit. Disadvantages of free trade. The main disadvantage of free trade is the possibility of product dumping, wherein cheap foreign imports would overwhelm locally made products, resulting in the closure of those particular industries. This is one of the main fears associated with the creation of free trade agreements and why protectionist measures are often put in place to prevent this. Advantages of protectionism. The advantage of protectionism is that it allows local industries to grow and develop without adverse competition from other markets with a competitive advantage. Protectionism, in essence, ensures the continued existence of these industries, which leads to the sustained jobs that these industries create. Disadvantages of protectionism. The disadvantage of protectionism is that it often creates a quid pro quo mechanism wherein protectionist measures put in place by one country are emulated by other countries. This restricts international trade and makes the flow of goods and services far more expensive for local consumers. Opinion. It is my opinion that while it is important to ensure the survival of local industries, the establishment of free trade protocols is necessary in order to become competitive in the international market. Local industries need to be able to penetrate new markets, and this can only be done if the restrictions that prevent them from doing so are removed. Solution. When examining the case, it is apparent that the best solution would be to establish some form of limited protectionism for vulnerable industries while letting most of a country's markets be open to free trade. By doing so, this helps to protect the industries that are vulnerable while at the same time allowing the rest of the population to take advantage of lower prices.